Morning, everyone. This is 9.8's post-test, which is on volume. So the last post-test was surface area. This one is volume. Volume, I think, is a little bit easier to deal with. The formulas aren't as difficult. There's not as many pieces. So let's get this one started. The first one's asking for the volume of a hemisphere. So to find this, we need the volume of a sphere, and then just dividing that by 2 to take half of it. Again, these volume formulas, they're just formulas. You can Google them, you can look them up. I'm going to provide them. So the volume of a hemisphere here is going to be 2/3 pi r cubed. Okay, it's 2/3 pi r cubed. In our diagram, we're given the radius, the r. For me, it's 12. So my volume will be 2/3 pi times 12 cubed. Again, 12 here is my radius. Also keep in mind, make sure you're reading how it wants pi. This case, it wants 3.14 for pi. So in my calculator, I'm going to start with the pi, so 3.14. So I'm starting here, times the 12 cubed. So times 12 times 12 times 12. Cubing something means multiplying by itself 3 times. And I'm just going to find what that number is. And then I have this 2/3. So to do this 2/3, I'm going to multiply it by 2 and then divide it by 3. So multiply by 2, then divide by 3. We'll multiply it by 2/3, and I get this 3,617.28. But again, we have to read how it wants it rounded. It says to the nearest tenth, which is the first decimal place. So I'm really looking at the 8 to determine if that 2 stays a 2. Because this is an 8, this 2 will round up. So this will be 3,617.3. Okay, this next question is asking to find the volume of a triangular prism, which is drawn here. One thing to note is on this triangular prism, this is 3 feet and this is also 3 feet. Okay, these two sides of this triangle face are the same. Okay, to find the volume of this triangular prism, it's the volume of the triangular base, so I'm going to say capital B, times the height of the prism. Okay, so we have to find the area of the triangular base here. And the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And then we're going to multiply by the prism height. Okay, so I'm going to put that as a capital H. So to find the area of this triangle, it's 1/2. My base is 3, and my height is also 3 of that triangle. Again, the base and the height, because it's a right triangle, this base and this height are both 3. Okay, they have that same tick mark. And then the height of my prism here is this 6 feet. Okay, so now we just put this in the calculator. I'm going to deal with the 1/2 at the end. So I have 3 times 3 times 6. And then to multiply it by 1/2, I'm just going to divide it by 2. So my volume here is 27 cubic feet. Okay, this next question says toy rubber balls are packaged in a circular cylinder that holds 3 balls. The diameter of each ball is 3.9 centimeters. Find the volume of the circular cylinder. Use 3.14 to represent pi. Okay, so this is just asking to find the volume of the cylinder. Okay, and we have these 3 balls in here to help. So to find the volume of a cylinder, it is pi r squared times the height of the cylinder. Okay, so we're given some information here. Okay, the r here, the radius, is going to be the radius of the cylinder, or the radius of this circle here, which you can think of as these circles as well, of these yellow balls here. So I'm given the diameter here of one of these circular balls. So to find the radius, we're going to take that diameter of 3.9 and divide it by 2, because the radius is half the diameter. So I know that my radius is 1.95. Okay, I know I'm going to have to square that. Okay, pi is still here. And then I need the height of my cylinder. Well, I know that this is 3.9, this is 3.9, and this is 3.9. So my total height is going to be the 3.9 3 times. Will give me this total height. So it'll be 3.9 times 3, so 11.7 is my total height. Okay, so now I have everything substituted, and now I can use my calculator. This one also says to use 3.14 as pi. So 3.14 times my 1.95, my radius, squared, so I'm multiplying it by itself, times my height, which was 11.7. So I get 139.696245. And this one says to round to the nearest thousandth. This is the tenths place, the hundredths place, the thousandths place. So that third digit after the decimal is the thousandths place. So I'm really looking at the one after it to determine if this 6 is going to stay a 6. Because it's a 2, this stays a 6. So my approximated volume is 139.696. And the unit here will be cubic centimeters. Volume is always going to be to the third power because we're multiplying 3 dimensions. Okay, this next question is a sphere. It says find the volume of the figure, express the answer in terms of pi, and then round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so we have a sphere here. Again, you can look up what this volume is. I'll Google it. I'm giving it to you. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, 4/3 pi r cubed. So all we really need here is what the radius is. Okay, it's given to me in my diagram. My radius is 3 inches. So my volume here is going to be 4/3 pi. My radius is 3, so 3 cubed. Okay, now it wants it in terms of pi, and then we're going to round. So I'm going to first write in terms of pi. So I'm going to leave the pi as is. I'm going to actually have pi in my answer. So all I want to do is do what the 3 cubed is, and then multiply that by the 4/3. So I'm going to do 3 cubed first. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then to multiply by 4/3, I'm going to multiply by 4 and then divide by 3. So I get 36. So my exact answer here, this exact volume, is 36 pi. And that's what it wants here in this box. 36 pi. And again, my unit is inches, so it's going to be cubic inches. And then it wants the approximate. So I know it's 36 pi, so I'm going to take my 36 and multiply it by pi. So 36 times pi is 113.097. And it says round to the nearest whole number. So this would be 113 cubic inches as well. Okay, the next question says find the volume of this figure. Okay, this figure is a cylinder. So to find the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the height of the cylinder. So I need to know the radius, I need to know the height of the cylinder. So in this, I'm given this distance, okay, of my circular base as 18 feet. This is the diameter. So to find the radius, I have to take my diameter of 18 and divide it by 2. Okay, so 18 divided by 2 is 9. So my radius here is 9. Just substituting that in. And my height here of my cylinder is this 11 feet. Again, just like the last problem, it wants an exact answer in terms of pi and then the approximate answer. So for the exact, I'm going to leave pi as pi, and I'm just going to deal with this. So I have 9 squared, 9 times 9, 9 times 9, which is 81, times 11, which is 891 pi. That is my exact answer, 891 pi. Again, my unit here is feet, so this would be cubic feet. And then the approximate, I'm going to take this 891 and multiply it by pi. And I get 2,799.159, rounded to the nearest whole number. So I'm looking at the first number after the decimal point is a 1, so it's going to stay at 2,799 cubic feet. Okay, my next figure is a cone, and it says find the volume, and same thing in terms of pi, and then the approximate. So the volume of a cone is pi r squared times h, the height, all divided by 3. Okay, so again, we need two things here. We need the radius and we need the height of the cone. Well, my figure gives me both. My radius here is 3, my height is 8. So my volume is going to be pi times my radius, which is 3, squared, times my height, which is 8, and then we're going to divide that by 3. Again, I'm leaving in terms of pi to start to find the exact. So I have 3 squared, 3 times 3, times my height of 8, so I get 72, and then I'm going to divide it by 3. So I get 24 pi. And again, that is my exact. We're talking about inches, so the unit here, don't forget the pi symbol, the unit here is going to be cubic inches. I'm just going to go back. I want to make sure I did not forget the pi symbol here. Okay, I didn't forget it there, didn't forget it there. Okay, and then to find the approximate, I'm going to take my 24, multiply it by pi. I get 75.398. Again, it says round to the nearest whole number. So I'm looking at the 3, it's less than 5, so this is going to stay 75. And same unit, cubic inches. Okay, this one says to use two formulas for volume to find the volume of the figure, express the answers in terms of pi, and then round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so very similar to what we've been doing, but now we have two figures involved. Okay, if you look at this figure, we actually have a cylinder and a hemisphere, okay, half a sphere. So there are two figures here, a cylinder and a hemisphere. Okay, we're going to find the volume of the cylinder first. Okay, the volume of the cylinder first. Okay, volume of the cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Okay, So looking at my cylinder, I'm given that this distance is 12 and this distance is 16. Okay, again, I'm going to leave in terms of pi for now. So I have pi. This distance is my diameter of my circle, but I need the radius, so I'm going to divide it by 2. So my radius in this case will be 6. Okay, half of 12 is 6, and my height of my cylinder is 16. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave this in terms of pi, and I'm just going to find what the volume of my cylinder is. So I have 6 times 6 times 16. So the volume of my cylinder is 576 pi. Okay, now I need to find the volume of my hemisphere. Okay, the volume formula here is 2/3 pi r cubed. Okay, 2/3 pi r cubed of the hemisphere. Okay, here's my hemisphere. Okay, the radius is going to be the same radius as my cylinder, so my radius is still going to be this 6. So I have 2/3 pi times 6 cubed. And again, I want to leave this in terms of pi. So I'm going to do the 6 cubed and then multiply by the 2/3. So I have 6 cubed, which is 6 times 6 times 6. And then to multiply by 2/3, I'm going to multiply by 2 and then divide by 3. So I get 144 pi. So the volume of my hemisphere is 144 pi. The volume of my cylinder is 576 pi. To find the total volume, I'm going to have to add them together. So I have 144 pi plus the 576 pi from my cylinder. So I have 144 plus 576. So I get 720 pi. That is my exact volume. 720 pi. This is feet, so this will be cubic feet. And then it wants it rounded to the nearest whole number, so I'm going to take my 720, multiply it by pi, and I get 2,261.94 dot 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 dot. Okay, because it's a 0.9, it's going to round my whole number up 1. So this will be 2,262 rounded to the nearest whole number. And again, cubic feet. Okay, next question. An oil candle globe made of hand-blown glass has a diameter of 23.4 centimeters. What is the volume of the globe? Okay, so we have our globe here. Okay, it is a sphere. It's giving us the diameter in our problem, but in the image itself, it's actually nice. It's giving us with the radius. So it already took our diameter and divided it by 2. So we just need to find the volume of this sphere. Volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi times my radius, which again is in my image. For me, it's 11.7 cubed. And for this one, it says to use 3.14 for pi. So I have 4/3 times 3.14 times my radius cubed. Okay, and this is what's going in the calculator. I'm going to start with the radius cubed. So I have 11.7 cubed. So I'm going to multiply by itself 3 times. 11.7 times 11.7 times 11.7 times 3.14 And then to multiply by 4/3, I'm multiplying by 4 and then dividing by 3. I get 6,705.41976. This one says round to the nearest hundredth. That's the second decimal place. Okay, in this case it's a 1 for me, but I'm really looking at the next digit, which is a 9. So that's going to round my 1 up to a 2. So it'll be 6,705.42. Okay, another word problem. A circular backyard pool has a diameter of 26 feet and is 5 feet deep. 1 cubic foot of water has a capacity of approximately 7.48 gallons. If water costs $2 per 1,000 gallons, how much to the nearest dollar will it cost to fill the pool? Okay, so this is almost like an above ground pool, okay, a circular pool. Okay, if you think three-dimensionally, what shape this actually is, it's a cylinder, okay? A circular pool will really be a cylinder, okay? It's saying what the diameter of this is, okay, it says it's 26, and it's saying how deep it is, which would be the height here, of 5. So again, we're talking about a cylinder. We're talking about filling the pool, so we're talking about the volume. Okay, volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Okay, again, it's giving the diameter. So to find the radius, we take this diameter, again my diameter is 26 feet, and we divide it by 2. So my radius is 13. Okay, so my volume will be pi times 13 squared, and my height here is how deep it is 5. Okay, notice I'm going to leave this as pi for right now. So I have 13 squared, 13 times 13, times 5. So my volume of my pool is 845 pi. Okay, now, there's more to this problem. This is how much cubic feet there are. It says 1 cubic foot of water has a capacity of approximately 7.48 gallons. So one of these is approximately 7.48 gallons. So now I need to convert this to gallons. So this is at the point where I'm going to multiply this by pi. So I have 845 times pi. Okay, so that's how many cubic feet I have. But now I'm going to multiply this by 7.48 to convert it to gallons, because 1 cubic foot, this is cubic feet, is 7.48 gallons. So now I'm going to take this and multiply by 7.48. Okay, so I have 19,856. I'm going to leave this in the calculator. I'm just writing this number down just so you can see it. And this is how many gallons there are. Okay, again, I'm leaving this in the calculator. But it's asking how much it's going to cost. So water costs, and this is where we have to be careful, $2 per 1,000 gallons. So $2 for every 1,000. So now I'm going to take this number, because it's for every 1,000, and divide it by 1,000 to get how many thousands there are. So there are about 19.8567, so on, 1,000 gallons. And each one is $2. So now I'm going to take this and multiply it by 2 for the $2 per 1,000 gallons. And it's about $39.7, but it says round to the nearest dollar. So 39.7 will round up to 40. So for me, it will be about $40 to fill this pool. Okay, so just be careful with your converting here at the end. Okay, this question, find the volume of the solid. We have a square pyramid. Okay, a square pyramid. To find the volume of the square pyramid, it is a squared times the height divided by 3, where a here is just the length of the edge. Okay, so my edges here, because this is a square, my a is going to be 2. Okay, it's just the length of the edge is what this a stands for. So it's going to be 2 squared times my height of my pyramid, which is 9, divided by 3. Okay, now we just put this in the calculator. I have 2 squared, 2 times 2, times 9, divided by 3. Okay, so my volume is 12, and centimeters is my unit, so it will be cubic centimeters. Next question is a rectangular prism. This one we might be more familiar with. The volume of a rectangular prism is just length times width times height. It's giving me all 3 dimensions. Doesn't matter the order. 2 times 5 times 4. 2 times 5 times 4. Okay, I get 40. So my volume here is 40 cubic centimeters, because that is my unit. Okay, and then last word problem. A building contractor is to dig a foundation 54 feet long, 18 feet wide, and 3 feet deep. The contractor pays $20 per load for trucks to remove the dirt. Each truck holds 9 cubic yards. What is the cost to the contractor to have all the dirt hauled away? Okay, I know we dealt with a problem similar to this while we were still in school. We have to be very careful. My dimensions here of this foundation are in feet, but then the truck is talking about in yards. So my foundation, it's going to be a rectangular prism, okay, of this foundation. We have the length times width times the height. Okay, so my dimensions are 54 times 18 times 3. But this is in feet. I know eventually I'm going to have to talk about in yards, because that's telling me how much each truck holds. So right from the beginning, I'm going to convert these to yards. Okay, and there are 3 feet to 1 yard, which means I'm going to take each of these numbers and divide them by 3. So 54 divided by 3 is 18. So 18 yards is the same thing as 54 feet. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So again, I am dividing these by 3. Dividing them by 3. Dividing them by 3. Okay, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So these are my dimensions now in yards, because I want to find my volume in yards. Okay, so my volume in cubic yards now will be 18 times 6 times 1. 18 times 6 times 1, which is 108. So my volume of my foundation is 108 cubic yards. Okay, so now the contractor pays $20 per load for trucks to remove the dirt. So for every truckload, it costs $20. but each truck holds 9 cubic yards. So I have 108 total cubic yards, and each truck holds 9. So to find out how many truckloads there are going to be, I'm going to take my total volume and divide it by how many fit in one truckload. In this case, it's 9. So I'm taking my 108 and I'm dividing it by 9, which means it's going to take 12 truckloads to have all the dirt hauled away. 12 truckloads, and it's $20 per truckload. So if there's 12 of them, $20 each, I'm going to multiply that by 20. So 12 times 20. So it will cost $240. Okay, and that should be the last question. Okay, so that is it for 9.8 with volume. Again, please email me, comment on Classroom with any questions that you might have.